And one evening I was sitting in my living room, and it was in October of 1978, and I had all the lights off, and I was just sitting there just letting my mind wander, and quite abruptly, all of a sudden, four amber lights, started shining in the room and filling it with diffuse amber light. And needless to say, I turned around quite rapidly to determine what it was that I was seeing. And there were three lights that were approximately equidistant from each other, and a fourth one off of the equidistant spacing a little bit, but in the same plane. Anyway, after I saw this object, this jet came from the west, due west, and I'm very well oriented, while I was standing on the back porch of my house, and attacked and fired a missile, an air defense missile. As it turned out, it was a high explosive missile right at the target. And one of the things that I was doing outside of observing it is trying to ascertain approximately how far it was away from me. Well, as soon as the jet launched the missile, because my experience in air defense, and I know that we have air-to-air missiles that have nuclear warheads, I ducked behind my back porch so that I wouldn't get blasted with the alpha and beta particles, because they blind you and they burn you horribly. And I ducked behind it, waited for a period of time. There was no nuclear explosion, so I went so I could view the object again. Shrapnel was falling to the ground. It had exploded, and the object was accelerating away at a mind-boggling speed away from where the transaction occurred. This event occurred, the actual attack on the craft occurred about 10 miles east of Cedar Woolley. I'd say about 3 miles north of the area called Lyman-Hamilton. It's on the Skagit River in northwest Washington state. Outside of the speed, the thing that was most impressive about these targets is their capacity to have abrupt turns. People who are in air defense, look at mass and turning radius. Well, we had nothing that was capable of matching their capacity for minuscule turning radiuses. I mean, we're talking about virtually no radius turns at high speeds, 2,000 miles an hour, right angle turn. Just pew. Not only turns, but descents and ascents, where they would descend rapidly. It didn't seem to make any difference to them in which direction they went. At 11:14 in '98, November 14th, 98, I was sitting in my front room again. Only this time I was watching a movie. The lights were off in my house. My estimates were it was approximately a mile across, 1,100 feet thick, moving approximately 600 miles an hour without sound. I did get a very, very clear view of its shape, because that evening was a light frost. It was clear, the moon was out, could see its shape very well. There were hundreds of lights on it.
What shape was it?
It was roughly triangular shape, a little bit of a truncated triangular shape, because at the back side, it wasn't perfectly, it was like a triangle that's kind of cut off. And I could see the sides of it. There were rows of lights going up the sides. There were rows of lights going around the perimeter. There were rows of lights going across the bottom. I called my kids that lived in Cedar Woolley in town after I saw a number of silent jets come from the south in single file at 4-minute intervals and fly through the flight path. Jets were so quiet you almost can't hear them on tapes. I'd never seen the model of jets, and I'm pretty good at identifying just particularly military jets. They normally, when they're flying in our area, they fly from west to east on the Cultus Ridge, which is where they were supposed to fly. These flew from directly from south to north. When they moved through the flight path of the object, after they moved through it, they would take an immediate, really hard left and head westward. Then they went on a dog leg, and when they got over Cedar Woolley, and headed north. So I don't know where they were going. The second jet I filmed when he was flying through the flight path of the object, turned on a bright light. I can only imagine what the purpose of it was, but 4 different jets came at 4-minute intervals, all in exact flight, same pattern, same exact flight pattern.